Hello friends, welcome back. My name is Dina. If you're new here today, welcome. I am going to be doing something a little bit different for today's video, and that is because a few weeks back I asked my subscribers if they would jot down in the comments any requests they have for my channel, and so I'm trying to accommodate that and make sure that I fit in those requests now and then. I hope that you will stick around and join me as we walk through 6 tips that I put together of creating a home on a budget. Now, I had quite a few different requests that kind of went along with this theme, but I could not put all of those into the title, so I hope that you will find one of your ideas here in this video today. But let's go ahead and get started with tip number 1. Okay, so tip number 1 is something that Ronnie has shared with me for years and years and years, and it is never judge your chapter 1 by someone else's chapter 20. Now, you may not have a huge decor collection right now, but maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you just purchased a home, or you're newly married, or whatever the reason may be. Your collection may not be a 20-year collection, but don't worry, that collection is going to grow over time. It's okay to start out small. One day you will have so much stuff that you're not going to know what to do with it. So don't fear, it will come. Now, along with that, I know that sometimes it can be really hard to step into someone's home that looks so picture perfect and has so much decor. Now with social media and YouTube, it's just really hard sometimes. People have so many things, and it's truly like keeping up with the Joneses, which is sometimes rather unfortunate, I would say. But when you find yourself in that situation, always try to keep in the back of your mind just how long that person has had to gather and collect things over the years. Like in our case, I've been married for 32 years, and it has taken me a long time to collect what I have. Now, we have not always had what we have now, but I'm very grateful that over time we have been able to gather things up, and I love our home. Now, I haven't always. There have been times when I wish it was completely done and it looked like we had been married for 32 years when we had only been married maybe 6 months. So just give yourself a break and understand that it takes time. You know, if you're a new homemaker, you're not going to have a full house of decor. If you do, wow, that is truly awesome. And I know that some young ladies really start to cultivate their collection when they are young. I know our daughter-in-law, she had so much stuff saved up, and I thought that was such an amazing idea. She has made a beautiful home, and she will just continue collecting things over time and continue to make an even more beautiful home as they go on. And that is what is so nice about it. You don't have to have it all done today. You have the rest of your life to make your house a home. And then on that note, I know I have had a lot of young ladies come to me and ask me to help them decorate a space in their home. And I absolutely love doing that. It is sometimes a challenge because their decor style is not my own, but still it is so much fun. Now, one of the things that I often ask them is, you know, what are they wanting to accomplish in that space? And most of the time, I'll be honest with you, they will say, I want my house to look just like yours. And that's a huge compliment, and I thank them for that. But the thought behind that is that it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen with a one-day trip to Hobby Lobby. You know, that would be so expensive, so time-consuming, and honestly, it just would not work because they are still very young. They're newly married or just in their first home, and it just isn't going to make sense, and that will kind of come along in our next few tips. So number two is decide on, create, and understand your own decor style. And I think that's so important because when we are young, honestly, I don't think we really understand our own decor style. I know when I was younger, I had no clue what mine was. I relied on what I had grown up with and what was comfortable to me, and that was my mom's style. Now I have three older brothers, but my oldest brother had been out on his own and had his own beautiful home for quite a while before I left my mom and dad's home. And so even seeing his beautiful home, which I honestly always thought looked like a model home, everything was just perfect and in its place, but I never really took to that. I took to what was comfortable for me. And again, that was my mom's style, which is fine, but again, it was not mine. And so it took me a while to understand who I was, what I wanted, and then I could start cultivating. At first, I was cultivating someone else's style. And I don't have that style in my home, except for my mom and dad's coffee table and end tables, which is another story. I'm just not ready to give them up yet. But really, cultivating your own decor style is key. You have to know who you are and what you want before you can really start to grow any collection. Now, with that said, I would encourage you to take it very slow when you start this process. I would also encourage you to maybe get on Pinterest and start pinning things that you like. Maybe go one room at a time. Say you're going to start with your living room. Most people do because that is the center of their home. When you're having people over, that's where they're going to be. So if you do start with your living room, go ahead, get on there and just start looking for things that you like. And you know what? The picture may be something in a kitchen, but you see a little vignette that you truly like. Go ahead. If you want that for your living room, pin it in your living room pins, because you can go back and look at it and it's just going to be inspiration for you. Then you can move on to the next room. But if that is overwhelming, I would definitely say then kind of take a step back and just look at color palettes. Now, when it comes to my home, I'm sure you have noticed I am a very neutral decorator. Color and I just do not get along, and it's not the color's fault, it's my fault. My brain just does not work with color. It's just too overwhelming, and I honestly don't know what to do with it. So I try to stay very neutral and my pops of green, and it just really calms me, and it's what works for me. So I know that my color palette are just kind of 3 different colors, and that's good. Now I would say definitely stick to 5 or under when it comes to different colors for your color palette. Don't go too crazy. And another thing that I just kind of want to jump in right here with is if you do keep the same color palette all throughout your home, it does make it a lot easier to decorate your spaces and interchange decor from one space to another, which is another very budget-friendly tip, is to make sure that you keep your whole house cohesive. Now, I began doing that after touring a lot of model homes. I love touring model homes. It's a lot of fun to me, and I noticed all of their color stories were throughout the entire home, and it just made the whole space cohesive, look bigger, and obviously you can interchange that decor. Okay, moving on to tip number 3, I want to talk about don't let limitations limit you. Now, when Ronnie and I were first married, we both worked outside the home, but we both knew that that would not last forever. No matter what we had to do, we were going to make sure that I could stay home once we had our boys. Now, that was not based on we knew we were going to have enough money to do that. That was solely based on the fact that we thought that was what was going to be best for our family. So that also brought on some financial difficulties and stresses throughout the years because we lost almost half of our income when I stopped working. So that was a drastic change, but that was a change that we wanted to take on and were very serious about keeping to. So with that, I tried, and I still try to this day, even though we are far removed from that type of income. Thankfully, Ronnie does very well in providing for our family, but I still, to this day, try to stay on budget and try to find the best ways to save money. So if I can find something on clearance, I'm going to buy it then as opposed to buying it full price. If I can go to Hobby Lobby and find something at 75% off or 99% off, then I will probably more than likely get that item then at full price. Of course, every now and then there's going to be a splurge. I'm not saying you have to stick solely to buying clearance or used items, but it does help in the process of trying to keep on budget and trying to save money. But that's definitely when that creative side steps in and just helps to guide you through the process of making sure that you can stretch your dollar as far as you can. And honestly, that is where my scrolls came into play. I knew that I could recreate them, and they covered a large amount of space on a wall, and they were very pretty and pleasing to our eye, and I could make them very personal. They're very inexpensive to make, so it just made sense to go ahead and try my hand at it. And I've loved them. You all have loved them, and they don't look like they are a money saver. They look like a beautiful piece of art that is very personal to our family. So that creative side came out, and I was able to use it to not only save money, but make something very beautiful for our home. Okay. Tip number 4, I kind of touched on it a minute ago, but that is tour model homes. And why I say that is because if you have not walked into a model home as of late, I would go take a look at one. Now, I don't know if that is everywhere, but here in California, you walk into a model home and I will say they are scarcely decorated. They don't have wall decor from one wall to the other. Their countertops just have a few little touches on them, and it looks so perfect. I absolutely love touring model homes. Like I mentioned before, I think they have some of the greatest ideas you can come across in home decor. And when you really step back and take a look at it, you don't have to spend an enormous amount of money to recreate what they have put into their homes. And most of the time when someone is talking about a home of a friend they know that is decorated to the hilt, they will compare that to a model home. And that is because most of us love the look of model homes. So why not try to mimic that and save a little money? All right, moving right along on to tip number 5, which seems crazy because we only have one more after this, but this one might actually get me into some trouble being an influencer here on YouTube. But I say no to trends. And what I mean by that is trends they kind of get under my skin. Now, I know they can be so beautiful, and we really enjoy seeing what is new each and every year. And oh, this is gonna get me in so much trouble. I know a lot of influencers that will celebrate that idea each year in January. They post all the new trends and all the new color stories that have come out for that year. And then after that, they start trying to incorporate some of those trends. But that just means spending so much money, and I just cannot get on that bandwagon. Now, I'm not saying that I never buy new decor, because I do, and I love new decor, but I don't want to change up my whole entire style because someone in a magazine said that my style is out and this new style is in. I don't know how many times the color black has been in and out of decor style. It has been just crazy. Even in the last few years that I have been here on YouTube, black walls and black furniture has gone out. It has come back in, it has gone back out, it has come back in, and I'm just like, I can't keep up. I cannot keep up with it. And honestly, I would advise you not to try to keep up with it. It's just too much. It's too hard, and it gets really, really expensive. Now, new trends come in and they just kind of sock you in the face, and then they go out just as fast. And what are you supposed to do with all the decor that you just spent tons of money on, and now everyone's telling you it's completely out of style? It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Now, if you like a trend, like I love new trends. They are beautiful. And if I like something about it, I try to incorporate that into my decor. Maybe I can incorporate what they've done, but with my own things. You know, it's just, I don't know. You guys, I just don't like the idea of having a new trend each and every year. So I hope that doesn't come across as horrible. I don't mean it to. It's just, it just wears on me. I'm sorry. Okay, on to our last tip. Tip number 6 is comfortable, clean, and tidy. And I will always say that this is the case. I know that I try very hard to keep our home comfortable, clean, and tidy. And I just feel like that takes a weight off the rest of my family if our home is in order. All of us like order. Sorry if you hear snoring. Millicent is in her chair. I'm in Ronnie's office, obviously, and she's sitting right over there in her chair, and every now and then she's just snoring away. But I know my family really appreciates our home being comfortable, clean, and tidy. Ronnie will come home pretty much every day from work and express his thanks or say something about what he sees in our home, if it smells good, or I don't know, he just somehow he picks up on one thing or another almost each and every day. And so even that makes it so much easier for me to want to keep it up. He's never asked me to keep things up the way I do. He's never asked me to make sure that there's vacuum lines in the carpet before he gets home, or the wax burners are going and something smells good, things are dusted. He's never asked that of me, but he's always noticed them, and he's always thanked me for them. And so I know that he appreciates it. And I know that our boys have as well when they were growing up. And now, you know, even with Josiah and Alyssa having their own little home, they keep it so neat and tidy and really love the idea of keeping it that way. They both work very hard at it because they both have jobs outside the home. So they work as a team, and it's just so neat to see that go on in another home that has come from here. And also Alyssa's mama is an amazing homemaker. She has amazing style. And so, you know, just watching both of them move on and keep their home the same way means that they really appreciated what we did as moms as well. And so keeping your home clean, comfortable, and tidy just means so much to your family. I don't know about you, but I know it means a lot to myself as well. When we have gone out of town, I try to make sure that everything looks perfect, or, you know, perfect to my eye before we go away, so that when we come home, we walk into the house and it's just like, a breath of fresh air. You know, it's comfortable. It's all cleaned up. I don't need to get right at putting things away or picking stuff up. It's just done. And so that means so much to me. And I know then in turn, it's got to mean a lot to my family as well. So those are my 6 tips at keeping a beautiful home on a really small budget. I hope that maybe it has helped you in some way. And I hope that all of you that were looking for these ideas have found this video today and are encouraged by it. I just want to leave you with one more thing, and it is a simple Bible verse that I think fits so wonderfully with today's video. So it is Proverbs 24:3-4. It says, "By wisdom a house is built. Through understanding, it is established. Through knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. And I think it's just, sorry. His word just is so amazing. You know, it works for every single avenue of our life. And I just thought that was so fitting for today. He is going to help us no matter what, even if it comes down to our little simple wants and desires for home decor. He knows the desires of our heart, and I think he puts those little bits and pieces in his word for us in those times. So I hope this video has really encouraged you today and maybe given you some ideas to use around your own home. You do not need to spend a lot of money to make a beautiful home for you and your family. Take the load off and give yourself some grace and just wait. It'll all come. All right, everybody, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Remember to stay safe, be blessed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.